story had struck a nerve. As the narrative continued evolving, content creators leaned into every new detail, real or rumored. Reaction videos dissected body language, tone, and timing. Podcasts debated whether this was a calculated smear or a long overdue reckoning. Viewers were pulled deeper into the drama, feeling as though they were watching a serialized reality show unfold in real time. Emotions ran high as each new upload promised another twist, another angle, another reason to keep watching. Through all of this, Gene Deal remained the central figure in the reports. Supporters insisted he looked unwavering, standing firm despite the alleged pressure. Critics claimed his confidence was performative, but regardless of opinion, his presence dominated the conversation. The reports surrounding him had already reshaped how many fans viewed past events, making old stories feel new,
relevant. And as Katt Williams' rumored stance continued to hover over the narrative, the sense that this drama was far from reaching its peak became impossible to ignore. As the reports continued circulating, the tone of the conversation began shifting from shock to suspicion. Fans who had initially reacted emotionally now started questioning motives, timing, and intent. According to commentary spreading online, people began asking why these stories were surfacing now and who truly stood to benefit. Some believed the situation was being amplified deliberately, while others argued that long-buried tensions were finally spilling out on their own. Emotions ran high as timelines filled with theories suggesting power struggles, loyalty tests, and behind-the-scenes maneuvering that had nothing to do with truth and everything to do with control. The narrative around Katt Williams grew heavier during this phase. Fans claimed that even without a direct statement, his alleged stance was becoming clearer through indirect signals. Some pointed to subtle comments, old clips resurfacing, and rumored conversations shared by insiders. Supporters argued that Katt had always warned about the consequences of speaking freely in certain spaces, and now, according to them, history seemed to be echoing itself. Critics pushed back, accusing fans of reading too much into coincidence. Still, the speculation refused to die, giving Katt an almost silent narrator role in the unfolding drama. Meanwhile, reports suggested that Gene Deal was becoming more openly defiant. Fans claimed his tone appeared firmer, less cautious, as if he had accepted that retreat was no longer an option. According to online discussions, Gene seemed to acknowledge the pressure without confirming its source, choosing instead to emphasize self-respect and boundaries. Supporters praised this approach, calling it strength under fire. Critics accused him of escalating the situation by refusing to de-escalate. The divide only deepened, turning every word he spoke into fuel for debate. What truly intensified emotions were claims that the alleged confrontation was not an isolated moment. Some reports hinted that similar situations had occurred before, quietly brushed aside or ignored. Fans began connecting dots between past rumors and present discussions, framing the current reports as part of a larger pattern. Again, nothing was proven, but the idea of repetition made the story feel more serious. Fans are shocked by how quickly speculation about a single run-in transformed into a broader narrative about intimidation and silence. Reactions from those believed to be aligned with Diddy became a focal point as well. Online voices claimed that certain responses felt defensive, even aggressive, as if damage control was underway. Supporters of Diddy argued that loyalty was being mistaken for hostility, insisting that defending a legacy does not equal intimidation. Critics disagreed, claiming that the intensity of the pushback only made the report seem more believable. Emotions ran high as both sides accused each other of twisting the narrative to fit personal agendas. Family and close relationships were frequently brought into the conversation by fans seeking to humanize the story. People speculated about how this situation might affect Gene's inner circle, suggesting that loved ones could be feeling the weight of constant scrutiny. Even Katt's personal history was dragged into discussions, with fans recalling moments when he spoke about isolation, betrayal, and survival. These comparisons added emotional depth, making the drama feel less like celebrity gossip and more like a reflection of long-standing industry trauma. As the story gained momentum, content creators leaned even harder into dramatization. Reaction channels framed the situation like a chess match, with each move analyzed for hidden meaning. Pauses were treated as strategy, silence as power, and every rumored statement as a calculated strike. Viewers were pulled deeper into the spectacle, feeling as though they were watching alliances form and fracture in real time. Emotions ran high as audiences picked sides, often passionately defending their interpretations against anyone who disagreed. At the same time, skepticism also grew. Some fans began calling out what they saw as exaggeration, reminding others that reports do not equal reality. They urged caution, emphasizing that no concrete evidence had surfaced to confirm the more alarming claims. This pushback created friction, with believers accusing skeptics of denial and skeptics accusing believers of fear-mongering. The family was left divided once again, not by facts, but by belief systems shaped through emotion and loyalty. Through all of this, Katt Williams' rumored position remained a powerful symbol. To some, he represented accountability, a voice unwilling to be silenced. To others, he was simply being used as a narrative device by fans hungry for validation. Regardless of perspective, his name continued to elevate the conversation, giving it weight beyond Gene Deal alone. Fans are shocked by how a single association could amplify tension so dramatically without a single confirmed quote. As the dust from initial reactions began settling, a new feeling took hold: anticipation. Viewers sensed that the story was evolving, not ending. Reports kept surfacing, reactions kept intensifying, and unresolved questions lingered. Who truly crossed a line, if anyone did at all? Who felt threatened, and who felt challenged? And most importantly, whether more voices would step forward or retreat into silence. As the narrative continued unfolding through speculation and emotion, one thing became clear: the drama had reached a point where perception mattered just as much as reality, and neither side was ready to let go. As the reports kept circulating, the story entered a phase where emotion outweighed clarity. Fans were no longer just reacting, they were choosing sides with intensity that surprised even longtime observers of celebrity drama. According to online discussions, many people felt personally invested, as if the situation reflected broader issues of power, loyalty, and who gets protected when narratives become uncomfortable. Emotions ran high as viewers argued that even unconfirmed reports can reveal truths about how fear and influence operate behind the scenes. The idea that Gene Deal might be standing his ground became central to the conversation. Supporters claimed he appeared calm but firm, someone who had already accepted the consequences of speaking openly. They pointed out how his tone suggested resolve rather than panic, framing him as a man refusing to be pushed back into silence. Critics, however, argued that confidence can be performative, accusing him of leaning into controversy because attention feeds relevance. The divide only deepened, with neither side willing to budge. Meanwhile, Katt Williams' rumored stance continued to loom over everything. Fans treated his alleged reaction as symbolic, even without direct confirmation. Some described him as a mirror reflecting what many insiders feel but are afraid to say. Others insisted he was being unfairly pulled into a narrative built on speculation. Still, his reputation for speaking bluntly made it difficult for audiences to dismiss the possibility that he felt compelled to respond, even if only indirectly. Emotions ran high as people debated whether silence itself could be a form of commentary. Reports also suggested that the ripple effects were spreading beyond the main figures. Fans speculated that industry relationships were being quietly tested, with people forced to decide where they stood. Some claimed that certain personalities avoided the topic altogether, choosing safety over involvement. Others were accused of subtly signaling allegiance through likes, reposts, or carefully worded comments. None of this was proven, but the perception of a silent standoff added tension, making the situation feel larger than any single confrontation. Reactions from fans of Diddy remained intense. Many argued that the legacy they admired was being unfairly dragged through the mud by rumor and exaggeration. They accused commentators of exploiting drama for clicks, insisting that reports without evidence should not be treated as truth. On the other side, critics countered that dismissing reports outright ignores patterns that deserve scrutiny. The family was left divided yet again, not just over personalities, but over how much weight rumors should carry in shaping public opinion. As the conversation evolved, the tone shifted from outrage to reflection for some viewers. People began asking what accountability looks like in an industry built on image. Even if nothing happened exactly as described, fans argued that the speed at which intimidation narratives felt believable was telling in itself. Emotions ran high as viewers shared personal stories about speaking out and facing backlash, drawing parallels that made the drama feel relatable rather than distant celebrity gossip. Content creators continued fueling the narrative, framing the situation as unresolved by design. Reaction videos emphasized unanswered questions, suggesting that the lack of clear confirmation only added to the intrigue. Every pause, every refusal to comment, every vague statement was treated as another clue. Viewers were encouraged to read between the lines, turning speculation into a form of participation. Fans are shocked by how deeply invested they became in a story built almost entirely on reports and reactions. Gene Deal's position within this storm remained complicated. Supporters praised him for refusing to retreat, interpreting his steadiness as courage. Critics argued that real strength would be disengagement, but regardless of interpretation, his role in the narrative was undeniable. The reports surrounding him had
altered how many people viewed past events, making old stories feel newly charged. Perception had become reality in the public eye, whether anyone involved wanted it or not. As Katt Williams' name continued to circulate alongside Gene Deal, the story reached a point of no easy resolution. Fans sensed that even if no further statements came, the conversation itself had already done lasting damage. Reputations were questioned, loyalties exposed, and long-standing tensions resurfaced. Emotions ran high as people realized that sometimes the most powerful impact comes not from confirmed facts, but from the collective reaction to what might be true. By the time the dust seemed ready to settle, It became clear that this drama was not about closure. It was about exposure, perception, and the uncomfortable space between rumor and belief. The reports may never be fully verified, and the truth may remain fragmented, but the reaction they sparked revealed deeper fractures that cannot easily be ignored. As fans continued watching, debating, and choosing sides, one reality stood firm. This story had already changed the conversation, and the echoes of it would linger long after the headlines moved on. So now the question comes back to you. After hearing all these reports, reactions, and rumored moments, what do you really think is going on here? Is this just another case of online narratives spiraling out of control? Or do these stories point to deeper tensions that people have been afraid to talk about? Fans are shocked at how quickly perception can become reality, especially when silence, body language, and indirect reactions are treated like evidence. You have seen how emotions ran high, how sides were chosen, and how a few circulating reports managed to shake long-standing loyalties. None of this has been confirmed as fact, but the impact is already real. Conversations have shifted, opinions have hardened, and questions are being asked that many believed would never surface again. And that is what makes this moment so compelling. It is not just about what may or may not have happened, but about how people respond when power, reputation, and fear collide in the public eye. Now it is your turn to speak. Do you believe these reports are being exaggerated for drama, or do you think there is truth hiding between the lines? Do you see Gene Deal as someone standing firm, or someone fueling controversy? And where do you think Katt Williams really stands in all of this? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this conversation does not end here. Your perspective matters just as much as any headline or reaction video. If you want to stay updated as more reports surface and this story continues to evolve, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. That way you will not miss the next chapter as it unfolds. Stay locked in, keep questioning what you hear, and remember, sometimes the loudest truths live in the space between what is said and what is avoided.
It came to light for y'all that this dude wanted me dead way before I came to YouTube.
I'm not the type of dude that you can come up on like.
Bro, listen. We out here
What kind of content?
You're not gonna tell me what to do.
You can't come up on me.
Bro, listen.
If you come up on me, I'm gonna knock you the fuck out.
That's what I said. You don't do what I say. That's what I said.
The moment this story started circulating, fans were left stunned, confused, and glued to their screens, because what people are saying feels bigger than just another rumor. Whispers began spreading that Katt Williams, a man known for never holding his tongue, had finally reached a breaking point. According to growing reports and conclusions, it's important to understand that none of this has been confirmed as fact. But that hasn't stopped the internet from exploding with reactions, theories, and heated debates. Sources close to the situation claim that tensions have been quietly building behind the scenes for years, and now, suddenly, everything feels like it's boiling over. People online are saying that Gene Deal has been facing mounting pressure, and that recent encounters described by witnesses were anything but calm. Fans are shocked.
First inside the courtroom.
Lady.
What did you do to Mr. Gene Deal inside the courtroom right before my eyes? And why did I have to get in your face like this and tell you to step back from him? Why did I have to stand in front of Mr. Deal behind me and tell you to back up off of him?
Because it was two men handling business.
And then what happened? But what happened?
That's for me to know.
But what did you do? So why are you not telling the truth? My name is Candor. I'm transparent. I'm true.
You right here.
C-A-N-D-O-R.
Energy with you, sweetheart. I can't.
But you didn't have the same energy with him when he came outside either.
When he came outside, he left.
Man,
yo.
get out of here.
He left. He left, yo.
What he look like telling somebody to whoop my ass? He didn't tell him that. He wanted me in the dirt and was trying to rock me to sleep.
By how aggressive some of these accounts sound, especially when they describe individuals allegedly running up on him in public spaces. Again, these are reports being discussed, not proven events, but the emotional weight behind them has captured everyone's attention. What really sent shockwaves through social media was the idea that Katt Williams might be stepping into the conversation. According to chatter spreading across platforms, Katt is said to be publicly backing Gene Deal, refusing to stay silent while these stories continue to circulate. Fans are now revisiting old interviews, old jokes, and old warnings, trying to connect dots that may or may not even exist. Emotions ran high as commenters argued over whether this is the start of something bigger or just another chapter.
Dead way before I came to YouTube. Because I was having meetings with serious dudes in the street. And he refused to sit down. So what did he do? He tell his security team. He didn't tell the NYPD officers. He didn't tell the Department of Correction officers. He didn't tell none of the parole officers or anybody he had working for him that was officers. He told street dudes who had did dirt in the street. When y'all see Gene, y'all do him dirty. Y'all beat him up. He ain't tell him to beat me up. What I look like getting beat up? What a grown man look like? Somebody smacking him around, hitting him and all this shit like that. I ain't taking no ass whooping. I ain't took an ass whooping since the doctor spanked me on my fucking ass. I ain't took an ass whooping since my mama and my daddy. When they stopped taking it, I guess I'm got amnesia. I don't know what an ass whooping look like.
In hip-hop folklore. Some fans believe this could expose deeper fractures within the Bad Boy legacy, while others think it's all exaggerated storytelling fueled by online outrage culture. Still, one thing is clear. The reports alone have reignited long-standing tensions and reopened conversations many thought were buried. With every new clip, every reaction video, and every anonymous source, the suspense only grows. And as people wait to see who speaks next, one question hangs in the air. If these reports keep coming, will more voices finally break their silence too? As the reports continued to spread online, the atmosphere around Gene Deal reportedly shifted in a way many fans say felt unsettling. According to people discussing the situation, Gene was no longer just another voice sharing stories from the past.
Booking number, then you do interview. I answer any of your questions. I ain't got no problem of answering anything that you want to know. All you got to do is pay my fee and I'll be there. He said, well, you ain't gonna tell me how to get the contact. And as soon as he said that, and he came like he was coming close to me, I took it back to 92. Wu-Tang, protect your neck. And that's all I'm gonna say. I took it back to that. I took it back to 1992 Wu-Tang, protect your neck. And he know what I'm talking about. Then when I did that, then next thing you know, a girl came, the guards started coming and stuff like that. And he told the guards, yo, watch the camera. He hit me. That's what he said to the guard. So one guard was like this. One guard got in front of me and I moved. He said, yo, Gene. He said, yo, Gene, because he ain't know me. He said, yo, Gene, you could just knock me down, bro. Just take a couple of days and get up out of here. And so I was leaving. So he ran and got his camera, and then somebody called my name. He called my name like that. I turned around and I just said to him, I said, yo, bro, I'm not that dude that you could just run up on. I'm not that dude that you could say whatever you want to say. I'm a grown man. You understand? I'm not that dude that you could say whatever you want to say to, because if you run up on me, I'm going to knock you the F out. And that's how that went, bro. And there's nothing I'm proud of. You understand? But you don't talk to grown men. I don't care what kind of YouTube show you got. I don't care what kind of, you want to go viral, you want to do this and you want to do that. You conduct yourself as a gentleman. You want to call yourself a reporter. You don't see all the reporters who went to school. You don't see all the reporters who got their degrees, who got, you know, who worked up the ladder to become who they are, yelling and screaming and cursing and saying all kind of crazy shit to people. You don't see that.
He was suddenly being framed as a problem, someone whose words were making certain powerful circles uncomfortable. Social media users began pointing out how quickly the tone around him changed, with supporters saying he looked more guarded in recent appearances, while critics accused him of going too far. None of this has been confirmed as fact, but the perception alone was enough to spark intense debate. Those close to the conversation say Gene appeared aware that eyes were on him. Fans noticed subtle changes in how he spoke, how he chose his words, and even how often he addressed safety concerns. Some claim he hinted that he was moving differently, watching who approached him, and being mindful of his surroundings. Again, these are claims circulating online, not verified events, but they fed into a growing narrative that pressure was building behind the scenes. Emotions ran high as viewers tried to read between the lines, asking whether this was fear, frustration, or simply exhaustion from years of controversy.
You doing
I'm cooler than a fan. They took my children from me.
Yeah, I mean,
how terrible is that?
I did want to ask. The cops, allegedly found some guns and.
Yeah, they always find guns. I never leave without a girlfriend. I'm on the middle of an interview, sir.
Sorry about. Look, they found guns and drugs now.
Drugs?
That's what it was reported.
Sir, you can look at my paperwork. There was no drugs. Weed is not a drug.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that's safe for kids to be around guns and stuff like that? I mean, I'm just curious.
How do you keep this kid safe without guns? They were in a lockbox that the police broke.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean,
saying, if the police come in and raid my place and break into my gun boxes, you're gonna find guns. But these aren't. Well, I'm not in a gang. What difference does it make?
Now, you were actually stopped for this and let go because you have a license for it.
No,
right?
This is their 9th time coming to my house. The problem was this time they came to my office and took my kids from an office, not from my house, from an office. So now when I can't have my kids at my office,
that's an issue.
I must be the most terrible black dude.
Katt was still wearing Kevlar to bed. I would get in bed with him at night anyway.
What added fuel to the fire were reports describing tense moments involving individuals believed to be connected to Diddy's circle. According to these accounts, certain encounters felt confrontational rather than casual. Witnesses allegedly described situations where voices were raised, personal space was crossed, and the mood shifted from uncomfortable to openly hostile. Fans are shocked by how often phrases like "ran up" or "step to" began appearing in comment sections and reaction videos. Still, it remains important to remember that these descriptions are based on secondhand reports and online chatter, not confirmed incidents. As the narrative grew louder, supporters of Gene Deal began rallying behind him. Many argue that
Gene, I'm telling you, man, somebody better punch him in the face. Somebody better do something to him, man. He out here doing this, that, and we be like, all right.
Okay, so when was this? Because was Gene doing interviews at this point?
Yeah, we talking like 2008, 2009. Gene was spreading the word. You know, Gene was always bad mouthing Gene.
Wait, hold on. Vlad TV started in 2008, 2009. YouTube was really early.
No, he wasn't doing YouTube and stuff. He was going around talking a lot. And we all from Harlem. So he was just talking a lot of shit. And it's a small, Harlem is small.
So what was Gene Deal saying during that time? What did you hear?
He basically was talking about Puff and woman that was going on with him and Kim. Puff being gay, you know, with him and Usher, shit like that. He was talking the same shit that he's talking now on a major scale, but he was spreading it around Harlem. Okay. So it was basically a thing where, yo, if y'all see that, man, I'm telling y'all better hear
he was being punished simply for speaking openly about his experiences. They shared clips from older interviews, claiming his story had never changed, and that consistency made him credible in their eyes. Critics, on the other hand, accused him of chasing attention and stirring drama for relevance. The divide became obvious, with timelines flooded by heated arguments, emotional posts, and long threads breaking down every gesture and every word he had spoken. In the middle of this storm, one name kept resurfacing in discussions: Katt Williams.
Fans began speculating that Katt had been watching everything unfold quietly. People recalled his long history of calling out industry behavior, often through humor, but sometimes through blunt warnings. According to reports circulating, Katt allegedly felt compelled to address what he was seeing, especially as stories involving intimidation and pressure gained traction. Even without an official statement, the idea that Katt might break his silence sent shockwaves through fan communities. Online reactions suggested that Katt's potential involvement raised the stakes of the entire situation. Fans described him as someone who does not speak lightly, and many believe that if he were to comment, it would not be without reason. Speculation exploded about private conversations, past interactions, and unspoken alliances. Some fans suggested that Katt and Gene shared a mutual understanding of how power works behind the scenes, while others believed Katt was simply tired of watching history repeat itself. Emotions ran high as people debated his intentions, his timing, and what his words could mean. Reports also claimed that those connected to Gene were feeling the strain. Friends and associates were said to be urging caution, reminding him that speaking openly can come with consequences. Family members, according to fan speculation, were worried about his well-being and safety. None of these claims have been verified, but they added a layer of personal stakes to the story that made it resonate more deeply with audiences. The idea that this drama could affect not just reputations but real lives made the conversation feel heavier. As reactions poured in, fan pages began dissecting every rumored confrontation.
Screenshots, edited clips, and commentary videos flooded platforms, each adding their own interpretation. Some creators framed the situation as a power struggle, while others saw it as a warning to anyone thinking of speaking out. The family was left divided in the court of public opinion, with some defending the legacy of Bad Boy and others questioning the cost of protecting it. Through all of this, Gene Deal's reported stance remained a focal point. Supporters claimed he appeared resolute, unwilling to back down despite the alleged pressure. Critics argued that he was leaning into the controversy. Either way, the attention surrounding him only intensified. Fans are shocked at how quickly a series of unconfirmed reports turned into one of the most talked about topics online. By the time Katt Williams was rumored to have acknowledged the situation, even indirectly, the narrative had already taken on a life of its own. People interpreted silence as strategy, and words as signals. Some claim Katt's alleged reaction was calm but firm, suggesting he would not allow intimidation narratives to go unchecked. Others insisted he was simply responding to what fans were already saying. As discussions continued, one thing became clear. Regardless of what actually happened behind closed doors, the reports themselves were enough to shake public perception. Emotions ran high, alliances were questioned, and long-standing tensions resurfaced. The situation no longer felt like isolated gossip, but like the beginning of a much larger conversation about power, loyalty, and the cost of speaking out. And as the story continued to unfold in real time through reports and reactions, the sense of anticipation only grew stronger. As the online conversation kept growing louder, reports began framing Gene Deal as someone caught in the middle of a storm he may not have fully anticipated. According to commentary circulating across platforms, what started as casual discussion slowly turned into something heavier. Fans noticed that every time Gene appeared on camera or was mentioned in interviews, the tone around him shifted. People weren't just listening anymore, they were watching closely, analyzing his expressions, his pauses, even the way he reacted to certain names being brought up. Emotions ran high as viewers claimed he looked tense, as if he knew the situation around him was changing. Many commentators suggested that this shift was tied to alleged pressure from figures believed to be connected to Diddy's inner circle. Again, none of this has been confirmed, but reports claim that Gene was no longer being treated as just another voice from the past. Instead, he was being discussed as someone who had crossed an invisible line. Fans are shocked at how quickly these narratives gained traction, especially when anonymous sources started hinting at uncomfortable encounters. Some describe moments where conversations allegedly became heated, voices were raised, and boundaries were tested. Even though these stories remain unverified, the way they spread created an atmosphere of suspense and unease. People close to Gene, according to fan speculation, were said to be urging him to
down and be careful. Supporters pointed out that speaking openly in an industry built on loyalty and silence can come at a cost. Critics, however, argued that Gene knew exactly what he was doing and was leaning into controversy for attention. This divide only intensified the drama, with timelines flooded by arguments, reaction videos, and long comment threads dissecting every rumor. The family was left divided in the court of public opinion, with no clear consensus on whether Gene was being brave or reckless. What made the situation feel even more intense were reports describing public run-ins that allegedly did not go as planned. Witnesses, according to online chatter, claimed that certain interactions felt confrontational rather than friendly. Phrases like "stepped too close" and "got in his space" began appearing repeatedly in discussions. Fans are shocked by how often the same language popped up across unrelated accounts. While no proof has surfaced, the repetition alone convinced many that something tense had occurred. Emotions ran high as people debated whether these stories were exaggerated or hints of something real happening behind the scenes. As this narrative grew, attention slowly began shifting towards Katt Williams. Fans recalled how Katt has historically spoken out when he feels something is wrong, often using humor, but never shying away from uncomfortable truths. According to reports, people close to Katt suggested that he had been watching everything unfold quietly. Some fans believed he was waiting, choosing his moment carefully, while others argued that he had no intention of getting involved until the conversation reached a certain point. The idea that Katt might finally address the situation added another layer of suspense to an already heated story. Social media erupted with speculation about why Katt's voice mattered so much in this moment. Supporters described him as someone who has seen the industry from the inside and survived by refusing to fall in line. Critics accused fans of projecting significance on his silence. Still, the possibility of Katt speaking up felt like a turning point. People began revisiting old clips and interviews, claiming they now sounded like warnings rather than jokes. Emotions ran high as viewers tried to connect dots that may or may not exist. Meanwhile, Gene Deal's reported behavior continued to draw attention. Fans noted that he appeared more guarded in recent discussions, choosing his words carefully and addressing rumors without fully confirming anything.
Supporters praised him for standing firm, saying he looked unafraid despite the alleged pressure. Critics argued that his tone suggested he was playing into the drama. Regardless of interpretation, the focus on Gene only intensified, turning him into the center of a story that seemed to grow larger by the day. Reports also claimed that reactions from fans of Diddy were far from calm. According to online commentary, some supporters viewed Gene's words as a betrayal, accusing him of damaging a legacy they felt needed defending. Heated exchanges broke out in comment sections, with accusations flying from both sides. Fans are shocked by how personal these arguments became, often crossing the line from debate into outright hostility. The emotional weight of these reactions made it clear that this story wasn't just about rumors, but about loyalty, identity, and long-standing divisions within the culture. As Katt Williams' name continued trending alongside Gene Deal, the suspense only deepened. People speculated about private conversations that may have happened away from camera.